Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Okay, I understand that actually you've thrown your weight and support for the Labour Party governorship candidate in Abia State, talking about Dr. Alex Oti. What actually informed this decision of yours?
Yeah, thank you once again for having me. Well, first and foremost, I want to mention that I'm an indigenous of Abia State, and I'm from Yukwano, local government area of Abia State. So I'm a son of Abia, and I have been a keen observer of the political situation in Abia. I also have seen the kind of governance that have happened in Abia for the last 22 years. And I have must confess to you that I'm not really impressed with the kind of leadership, over the years that have run Abia. There are many things that will make you feel a bit sad, a bit sad about Abia.
What exactly that? Tell us that particular thing that makes you so sad about Abia.
The basic infrastructures are not there. The basic infrastructures are not there.
Hello? Hello? Hello, Barrister, can you hear me? Okay, we'll just take a breather to take our connection. We'll get back to you after this timeout. Stay with us. Labour Party!
This mix is supported by Abia Freedom Alliance. Abia Kora Group for Dr. Alex Oti. Watarozia.
Alex Oti and the imperative of building a new Abia. The 2023 governorship election in Abia would be very significant for a number of reasons. It will be the first in the state under the new electoral law, which promises more transparent and credible polls, as was witnessed in a few states between 2021 and 2022, where the outcome largely reflected the electoral choices of the voting public. Additionally, the election of March 10, 2023 in the state would offer Abians an opportunity to offer their verdict on the performance of the ruling class since 1999. Do we want more of the same, or do we want to chart a new trajectory for ourselves? Do we want to continue to watch our pensioners, civil servants, teachers, health workers, and other diligent and hard-working Abians live in destitution due to complete neglect and abandonment by the government of the day? Do we want to continue with a leadership system that pays humongous sums for substandard road projects that wash away after a few weeks of rainfall? We can go on and on and on, but suffice it at this point to say that the 2023 global race presents us a great chance to begin anew, reject failure, and take our collective destiny in our own hands. We must therefore reassert ourselves by rejecting the empty promises of those who brought us into this sorry state in the first place. The message of building a new Abia, where the welfare and prosperity of the people drive government policies and programs, was introduced to us some years ago by Dr. Alex Oti, OFR. Dr. Oti's message of rescuing and restoring our dear state may have been heard yesterday, but the essential ideas remain as relevant or even more relevant today than it was when we first heard it. We have survived several years of dishonest leadership, watched the political elites in the state fritter our collective resources away, and made us serfs in our fatherland. The Abia from all parts of the state, whether living in rural or urban areas, have suffered the grave consequences of unaccountable leadership and crass incompetence. The death and impoverishment of our fathers, mothers, friends and colleagues in the civil service, the poor state of urban and rural roads across the state, absence of efficient public water supplies to our homes, the dilapidation of our educational and health institutions, very high youth unemployment rate, heaps of refuse overtaking our streets and major roads, clogged and smelly drainage pathways, producing very offensive odors, are some of the manifest expressions of the poor leadership we have witnessed in the state for many years. Dr. Alex Oti, the Labour Party governorship candidate for the March 10 global election, believes that the solution to these problems lies in the competent and forward-thinking leadership. Who is Dr. Alex Oti, and what can he do differently when elected? Well, better than any other candidate in the governorship race today, Dr. Alex Oti has demonstrated a practical understanding of the issues facing the state and offered realistic solutions to tackling them. Dr. Oti's manifesto is the most robust and has detailed plans, timelines, and financial projections for accomplishing specific development targets in critical areas such as social and economic welfare of the citizens, education, health, urban renewal, infrastructural projects like roads.
All right, sincere apologies there for that breach, but welcome back. It's still time out with Labour Party here of Flow 94.9 FM, and I have back on the line Barrister Monday Onyekachi Ubani, former first vice chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association. Welcome back to the program, barristers, and sincere apologies for that breach.
No, it's okay. It's technical issue.
Yeah. Okay, so you were actually making a point. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm saying that over time we have not been very fortunate with leadership in Abia, and everyone in the country knows it. Every serious-minded Abian will also testify that even some states know that Abia started before they were created are far better, are far ahead in terms of infrastructure and human capital development than Abia. And they look at it, what could be the cause? It has nothing other than that of leadership. We have been not fortunate. We have not been too fortunate with leadership. And then you now see somebody who happens to be from Abia, who has pedigree, who has alternatives. You see his write-up, you see his proposition, you see his campaign slogan and what he's trying to offer to Abians should he be elected. Then you say, why don't I try this? We have fumbled with the kind of leaders we have thrown over time, and they have not been able to take us to our promised land. And Abia happens to be God's own state, where God actually dwells, and we are not short of the kind of human beings, one of the best in the country in terms of best, intellectuals, PhD holders, professionals, businessmen, people of renowned, integrity in the country. If you remember that the first president, who under the military in the 60s, that is Aguirre is from Abia State. Okay. The balance of this world around the region and made the region, the eastern region, one of the fastest growing region in the country is from Abia. How many will I name? How many will I leave? That actually are sons and daughters of Abia, who are renowned in this country, who are noted, for things they have contributed to national growth. But you come down to the state, where you have such men and women, that are in abundance, and you are not seeing evidence of good leadership. You are not seeing evidence of, basic development that should make you very proud. And then you ask yourself, is it that the people are so blind? Is it that the people are weak? Is it that the people are under curse, that they cannot be able to break away from that curse and say, no, we cannot continue on this journey we have embarked upon, that have not been able to bring serious development to our state. So I look at all the arrays of those who are probably offering themselves for governorship, after how many years of misgovernance, and I'm seeing Alex Oti as a very veritable, very good alternative, and who has plans that will actually, bring us to where we're supposed to be in terms of development, with other states, so that we can be very proud, to answer Abian. I tell you this, that not many Abians, feel very proud, when they go to other states and see what other states are doing in terms of infrastructure development. And they come back to Abia. Abia is completely dead. The truth of the matter, Abba that I used to know while I was in the university, that almost all the Yorubas and some of the this northern were coming to carry things, trade, buy things. Abba is completely dead because of neglect and decay. And you ask yourself, must this continue? We cannot allow that, So even if Abians are under call, I think that this 2023, that cause is actually negativized. We are not going to allow that cause to work upon them. They are going to shine their eyes, and they will be bold enough to take a decision in order to get Abia from quagmire, in order to get Abia from shame, in order to get Abia to where everyone will be very proud and say, I am an Abian, God's own state. And I know that 2023 remains that year, a decision-making year that Abians will get out of this quagmire. It is my prayer point.
All right, now tell us, what area specifically do you think requires urgent attention for the incoming government in Abia State? Because it's very necessary. If the next government comes on board and it doesn't have focus, of course,
yes,
we still have what we're having now, and everybody will still go back and start complaining. So tell us specifically, what area or areas do you think the incoming government should focus on?
I think that the most important thing that the government should is the issue of infrastructural development. And Aba must occupy the pivotal attention, and the state capital, and there is all other areas. Almost every area in Abia, I must tell you, sir, is very economically viable. And what they require, what the people just require, are the development of those basic infrastructure. They need to have roads. If you go to Ikuano, for 22 years, there is no single any road at all. Apart from the federal road, I'm talking about going to the villages. That most of the farm produce, come from this village. They don't have any road. They cannot bring them out. If you come to my village, there is no single thing have happened in where I come from. I come from Awumuku. Awumuku is in Ikuano. The other neighboring village is Ariam. If you see the market of I go to Ndoru, I'm talking about just one particular local government. Then, there are 17 local government. If you go to all those local government in Abia, there is nowhere you can see, meaningful development that really encourage the people. By the time you develop those basic infrastructure, you give them roads, you give them light. Basic light, they must have all the facilities, to have light in the environment. I tell you that Abians are very decent, very hardworking. People are ready to come back from all the urban areas where they are residing back to the rural area in order to develop Abia, in order to develop our environment. So basically, he must embark on road infrastructure. The man must embark on issue of lightening all the rural areas, and then basic, education. The schools are completely dead. All the primary schools are completely dead. There is nothing that makes you feel proud that, this is where you attended the primary. Most of you attended your primary school. You go back to your primary, you can't even be proud to say, I am an alumni. I'm from here. That this is the former school that I attended and all that. So you must also tackle that, and then health is very, very key. We must have a standard hospital in Abia that everyone will be very proud of. The governor must do that. And there are so many other things. Abba, the man must pay attention. Immediately he comes in, Abba must occupy its pivotal place in terms of commerce in West Africa, if not even Africa. So everything that has to do with basic infrastructure in Abba must be tackled. And if Alex comes in and fail, of course he knows that the next 4 years will be those that will campaign against his removal if he fails to develop Abba and make Abba to occupy the pride of place in Africa. Yes, occupy the pride of place in Africa, in Nigeria. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, how certain are you if eventually Dr. Alex Oti wins this election and becomes the governor of the state, how certain are you that it will not be business as usual? We've seen in the past that each candidate will come and tell you they will do this, and people will support them. At the end of the day, once they get into office, it will still be business as usual. So you are now supporting Alex Oti. How certain are you that it will not be business as usual under his administration?
Even the devil does not don't know the heart of man. But there is nothing that you can only do in life in order than to publicly take a risk, especially when you look at what the person that is you are supporting has said. These are the things I'm going to do, and they look at my pedigree. I am coming from the private sector. I have been a managing director of a renowned bank, and that is a Diamond Bank. I used to be. I'm still a customer of Access Bank now. I was one of those that opened account in the 80s. On the 90s rather, with Diamond Bank, and Alex was a former managing director, and he was able to pull that bank from the brinks and ran it successfully before he now entered into politics. So I'm looking at him from that angle. He's a first class graduate I heard from the University of Port Harcourt. I think that is Port Harcourt, that is where he attended, and he came out, he was best graduating student, and everyone who has actually associated himself with him says that Alex is a very intelligent, full of wisdom, a man of pedigree, a man that can be able to turn things around. Now, for him to leave his comfort, as a banking guru and as an MD, to say, okay, let me take over and see what I can do in order to make sure that our state join other states, to be a place of pride. I think that is a sacrifice, and I think we should be able to give him a chance. And I cannot be able to judge him if I don't give him a chance. I can't actually pass any judgment on Alex now if I don't give him that opportunity for him to govern. So it is after I have given him that opportunity in terms of my vote, and Abians have done that, and then Alex comes in within 4 years, Alex cannot be able to achieve anything, then I cannot judge him and say he's like others. But for now, I think I have to take that risk, and I have done my risk assessment, and I have discovered that if I place my premium, I place my investment on Alex, I think he should be able to And I cannot in any way now predict that he will not be able until I give him that opportunity. That is what I want to tell and answer with regards to that question. It's an intelligent question. Okay. But I tell you this, if you don't take any risk on any person or anything you want to do in life, then you cannot succeed. If you just, because of rain, I say I'm not going to go to the farm. Bible says it. You are very lazy man, you die of hunger. So take a risk. We are taking a risk on Alex. And I think that Alex will not in any way disappoint or betray Abians.
Okay, now let's talk about politics. Before he will be able to win this election and probably becomes the governor, he has to be, do the normal thing politically. Now tell us, do you think Alex Otti has the capacity and the wherewithal, to win this election? I remember in 2015 he complained that his mandate was stolen. Take for instance, if eventually the people vote for him this time around, how sure are you that he will first of all gather enough votes and he will protect his vote to enable him to emerge the governor of the state?
Yeah. What happened in 2015 was catastrophic. He won that election and everyone knows it. God that stays in heaven and ruleth in the affairs of men is clearly aware that Alex Otti won the election of 2015. But he was robbed. Maybe, see, God's time remains the best. If God had wanted Alex to be the governor of Abia at that opportune time in 2015, there is nothing any man can do about it. But as long as we are children of God and we abide by his will, eventually turned out that forces came and ensured that he never emerged. And I won't blame Alex, because he tried his best and he was given the mandate, by the Abians, but that mandate was actually robbed. And at the end of the day, judiciary gave approval to that robbery, no problem. Now, Alex, with that capacity, having won an election before, can't repeat that particular fate and particular victory even in 2023. If you're able to win Abia election in 2015, not now that we have understood Alex even in a proper manner with his manifesto, and then he has also really exhibited resilience. He is the only opposition we have had over time in Abia. He has been able to challenge the government where they have gotten it wrong. He has been able to offer alternative. No other voice ever criticized what has been going on in Abia in terms of his governance except Alex. So if Alex has placed himself in that saddle, if Alex has actually brought out his neck despite all attacks from every angle in order to say I have a better alternative over the years, I believe that the same Abians who gave him that mandate that was stolen in 2015 will be bold enough. The Abians will be bold enough. Abians will really know that, okay, this man failed to secure this in 2015. This time around, we are going to go out of our way and ensure that with deployment of technology, there won't be any robbery. We are going to repeat what we have done in 2015 and return his mandate and see what he can do within the next 4 years in order to remove our shame. That is what I think will happen, because if he was able to win in 2015, it makes it easier for him also to gather the requisite third of the 17 states, 17 local government rather, and then have the majority number of votes that should be able to put him in the government house in Omaya in order to turn things around. So I have this belief that he has that capacity. I have the belief that God will give him the resources. I also have the belief that I don't need to ask for anything from Alex in order for me to vote for him. And so do I expect from Abian, because if this man comes in and begin to enthrone good governance, it will affect us directly. It will affect our children. It will affect our future. So why will I be demanding money from Alex in order to vote for him? Why will I ask anything? I think I've made up my mind, and I believe that every Abian should make up their mind that this is the time for us to rescue our state and rescue our future and rescue our children by not demanding anything from him but giving our support, all in a belief that when he comes in, he will turn our fortunes around and all of us will be very proud that we have not made any mistake. So I believe that he has the capacity, sir. Answering your question directly, he has the capacity. God is going to help him, and then with the belief that Abians will not know that we have tested one road and that road has not been too sweet. Let's test another soup and see whether that soup will make our dinner to be very, very pleasurable. That is my advice to Abians. Yes.
Yeah, with your last statement there, because that actually necessitated that question. With the presence of PDP, you know that PDP has been around since 1999 in the state, and they have structure, a very powerful structure in the state. So one will be wondering how Labour Party that just came on board, probably because of the entrance of Peter Obi into this particular, the party. One will be wondering, how can he maneuver, pull his way through against the powerful PDP that has the structure in all the 17 local government of the state?
It's also an intelligent question. All of us used to be members of PDP who were there. And also, I tell you today, as I speak to you today, PDP is not as powerful in Abia as it used to be. The house is clearly divided. And that division comes from the fact that there are those who have been wronged. There are those also who are not happy with the state of things, that they have supported this party and supported the membership of those who want to govern. And that the people have not been able to give a good account of leadership. If you hear some of their leaders, they will tell you. I hear one of their leaders that was lamenting the that time and said, if somebody comes in tomorrow and want to probe the kind of canker worm that will be exposed, because they know what they have done, they know they have the history of everyone. One of their leaders was saying this, and they're not happy with the state of things, because they visit other states and see what other states that are even governed by PDP have done. Wike is a PDP man, is he not? Is he not a PDP person? There are other PDP governors that have done something wonderfully well. Now, what has gone wrong with PDP in Abia that have not given good governance, and they are not ready, from the look of things. I'm talking about talking about party, but we are not even looking at party this time around. Abians and even Nigerians generally, you see what will happen with Obi's vote. A lot of Yorubas are all angling for Obi. A lot of the Hausa Fulani are also angling. They are not talking about party. People are now looking at individual. I for once, there is somebody in PDP that I also will vote for, but not for governorship. Are you following me?
Yeah.
So it is important we begin to probably make this distinction that it's not about party this time around. It's not about this or somebody talking about structure. The structure is about human beings. And if the human beings are disenchanted that over many years, the same people have been owing salaries to their mothers, have been owing salaries to their fathers, have been owing salaries to their uncles, and that you come to Umahia, by 7 o'clock everyone has gone to bed. Because of the kind of low economic activity. You go to Abia, everywhere is dead. You go to their village by 7, everyone is asleep because of low economic activity. You go to other states by 1 a.m., go to Akwa Ibom, go to Ikotebene, very close to my village there. By 1 a.m., 2 a.m., there is economic activities going on. But come to Maya, the state capital, by 7 o'clock, everyone is dead. For 22 years, a particular people have been in power, and you now want to reward failure. No, I don't think Abians are so foolish. I don't think Abians are not wise. They are wise. They will behave like Imo State people. They will behave like Anambra people who choose competence over issue of partisanship. They're not going to vote for any person because it comes from their village, or it comes from their region, or it comes from their area, or because I know him, or he's my classmate, or we are from the same local government. No, Abians are so wise now, and I believe that decision of wisdom will come in 2023, where Abians will make a decision of who they want to actually come and give them good governance, not necessarily because the person comes from the area. I believe that Abians have gone on one road and discovered that road there is no road on it, and they are looking towards another direction, not because the person comes from their village, not because the person comes from their town, not because they attended the same school, not because of what they will gain this time around, what everyone will gain, not what they will gain personally. That is my take with regards to what will happen in Abia, because we need to educate them. A lot of them requires education. We need to tell them that if you walk on one road for many years and that road is not going through, what would you do as a wise man? It's only a madman that does the same thing and expect a different result. We have tried them. They have not been able to. But as I said earlier, we're not looking at party. We're looking at individuals. Many people are obedient. Many people will vote for Obi, not necessarily because they belong to the same political party or Labour Party. The same thing with Alex Oti. A lot of other political parties are all inching to vote Alex because of his pedigree. Somebody that can turn things around and remove our shame. We are shame enough to answer Abians, with the level of bad governance that have gone over the years in our state. And nobody is proud. If we are very sincere to ourselves, even those who are in government, who are presently in this government, if they are very sincere, apart from their personal wealth, apart from what they have gotten, or what they have made from public posts, if they are very, very sincere, they will know that they have not been able to give Abians the kind of governance that we deserve. They know it, and God knows it, and every Abian knows it. enlist those who are benefiting from the rot that is going on in Abia today. So they are going to make up their mind to look towards a perfect direction, and that direction we are looking towards now, sir, is Alex Oti, and I'm doing it. And I'm doing it without asking for anything. And I'm doing it because I am expecting anything. I don't expect anything from any person. I just want a state where I'm going to be proud of that. You say, Ubani, you're from Abia. I say, yes, I'm very proud. Can't you see what is going on with the kind of governance? I want to practice my law. I'm not interested in any. I just want good. When I come the home, everywhere is safe. Everywhere is well governed. And there is life bubbling. And people are happy. People will not be calling me, send money and all that. But because there is economic activity for them to do and do business and succeed in the villages, I will be very proud that I've succeeded in doing that. So I'm not asking for anything. Abia, don't ask for anything from Alex. What you should give to Alex, let's return him to the government house. Let's bring him back to government house in this year and see, and give him 4 years and see what he can be able to do. And if he fails to do it, we are ready to vote him out in the next 4 years.
Okay, Barrister, I really want to us to digress a bit. As a lawyer, Abians will want to know, in the crisis rocking PDP in the state right now, I'm sure you must have heard that the former, or rather the running mate to Professor Ikone has been kicking against his substitution, of his name as the deputy governorship candidate. I'm talking about Okeigwe with another person. Now, you know that the window for this substitution is long gone right now, and many people are wondering what will be a possible outcome of such move if eventually they succeed in replacing Okeigwe with some other person as a running mate of the PDP.
It's a very dicey situation. The electoral act was very silent.
Yeah.
Of a deputy, if the candidate himself dies. The electoral act was very specific that what will happen is that there will be a new primary election. A new primary election, of course, will entail that there's going to be a new candidate that will emerge. Now, the same constitution has used the word substitution. That can only substitute where there is death or where there is voluntary withdrawal of the candidate. Now, what has happened now is death. But the death itself did not happen to both the deputy and to the governorship candidate.
Yeah.
The person that actually died is the governor himself, the governor candidate that died. Now, when you now want to do a new election in which a new governorship candidate has emerged, is he by law compelled now to go along with the former deputy that has already been submitted, or is he going to go with a new person entirely? The courts have not been able to decide that. It's clearly a novel issue, novel case, which I think should be tested in court, because it is important we know the position of the law. The position of the law becomes what the judges say.
Yeah.
Does it now mean that it is a new governorship candidate with a new deputy governor, or will he now say, okay, there is already somebody's name that is already there, it cannot be substituted except he is dead or voluntarily resigned? Now, has this man died, the deputy candidate, or has he voluntarily resigned? So if the law now means that he cannot be substituted unless he dies too, or unless he voluntarily resigns, it then means that the new man who has emerged as a governorship candidate cannot in any way change his name. So if the constitution, the electoral act now also apply to the deputy, that is where this issue will now, the man now that is raising these doors now will be favored. But for now, there has been no decided case concerning this, and as the electoral act was a bit silent as to the position of the deputy, because one, there has not been election. If there has been an election, are you following me?
Yeah.
In which this man has won.
Yeah.
Oh yes, the deputy governor steps in. Nobody talks about that. Now, if election has already started, and then there is vote, which this man is leading, it then means that this man, the deputy now will step in immediately and appoint his own deputy. Are you following me?
Okay.
But unfortunately, election has not started, because the electoral act made a provision where there's already commencement of election, but unfortunately the governorship candidate dies. If he dies, the deputy inherit all his vote and appoint his deputy immediately. That will now conclude the election. But in this one, they have not entered into election.
Yeah.
And now this man dies. Now the issue now is, can you now substitute this deputy when he has not died, or can you now substitute him when he has not voluntarily resigned? That is what the court now will interpret. So it's a novel case, very, very novel case. But where there is honor, where there is this thing, I would have expected the PDP to say, since this man has been agreed to be the deputy before this other man died, let's also retain, because if you now retain your local government, I mean, this man Ikone comes from a particular local government, you honored him by retaining your zoning formula to that particular reason. What stops you now from retaining the deputy governorship candidate that you paired with him? Why are you now choosing a new person entirely, another? But you know, it's politics. The new governorship candidate must want somebody else, you know, that he can work with, somebody that probably his classmate and all that, because a deputy governor does not contest election. He's only chosen by the governorship who has a match. So it is an issue of choice now. But what we're now saying, can he do that when this man's name has already been submitted? Okay. That is what the law now is, very silent about, and I think that the interpretation of the court will be required. Even if the man doesn't listen, it's good for this man to go to court in order to get a proper interpretation, whether anyone who has a match can actually remove his name when he has not voluntarily resigned or he did not die. So as I said earlier, it's a very dicey issue. Okay, let me sincerely thank you, former first vice chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association. Let me correct it. It's not chairman. I was a former second vice president, and the former chairman of Ikeja branch of Nigerian Bar, and presently the chairman of section of public interest and development law, which you call SPIDEL. I'm currently the chairman of SPIDEL, sir. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Barrister Mondo Onyekachubani, thank you so much. Bless you, sir. All right, thank you. Well, I think we'll take a breather now. When we come back, we'll now open the phone line so you can be part of this discussion. It's still Time Out with Labour Party here on Flu 94.1 FM. Stay with us.
Dr. Let's not teach you up now. Never party with honor to be up now. Dr. Let's not teach you up now. Never party with honor to be up now. Ndi Abia nile ndị Abia steeti ndị njem ọnụmụ ọkwụna ụla n'ihe ọma na anyabara ndụ ọkwụna ụla n'ihe ọma na anyabara ndụ Dr. Lesoti nwoke ọma omenụta Abia nwoke ọha dị mma wega PPC dịpụta jewa wete sere nne na nna na nwa ebe ọ bụbụ Labour Party na-ere I think you're going to Labour Party. Dr. Lesoti the provident. Okay, that's what the provident. Dr. Lesoti Chiwabia, Abia Kademba. Dr. Lesoti Lesoti here the woman. Dr. Lesoti Chiwabia, Abia Kademba. Labour Party will run here the woman. Labour Party. Papa Mama Piki.
This message is supported by Abia Freedom Alliance.
The numbers to call are 080-8182-6949 or 0811-605-2949. You can also send your SMS at 090-651-08289. It is Time Out with Labour Party here on Flu 94.1 FM. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, welcome.
Calling from Umaya.
Okay.
Dr. Lesoti Ndovia Kondiwala as the addition of Africa Development Bank and P2B, they have the same mindset, the same character. They are financial disciplinarians. They will not fish the money of the state. They will count every kobo because know the value. It is the most qualified governorship candidate for this election. And now, looking at the this is what they call it now, the state, Abia State.
Quickly,
what Abia should ask themselves, how much funds have come to this state from 1999 and as we speak?
All right.
And how much project is on the ground to quantify what is already on ground.
Okay.
To justify if they want to return the PDP to power, because tomorrow now they start calling them tenants and there's been and they are the landlord.
Thank you.
You know, Nigerians have too short memory.
Okay.
Now the election is around the corner. We have forgotten those insults and embarrassment.
Thank you so much, Ikechukwu, for calling there. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Speaker.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, Barrister, good morning. That's Ubani.
It's not here. Just go ahead.
Yeah, please, I want to comment what the discussion on ground now.
What's your name?
Concerning, my name is Ezi Hanacho. I'm from Eziaborg, isn't it? Here in Imo State, also known as Dekaban.
Right.
Yes, I'm from Imo State, but you know that Imo State and Abia are brothers. No, I want to comment what the barrister has seen and what they are saying. You know what I hate to hear is what you people call structure. Structure, is it a ghost? Structure, is it a pillar? Structure is a human being. Structure is when the Abia State now decided that unless OT will person that will vote. What about structure? I mean, what I mean by structure is people that will vote, the masses will decide. Now, we are not voting candidates. We are not voting party again. We are voting candidates who have capacity to develop the place he wants. You see what is happening in Imo State now. We don't want that again. I like what Amanda Ubani has said concerning Dr. Alex Oti, because Dr. Alex Oti, 2015, he wins in Abia State.
Right.
They robbed the mandate in the
allegedly.
He wants to regain the mandate now.
Okay.
Thank you and bless you.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much, Jagaban. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, welcome.
Thank you very much. Ugonna Eric.
Welcome, Ugonna.
It's unfortunate that Dr. Mondo Ubani was talking from the phone. He's not there. At least I would have reminded him of. I know he's as terrific and ferocious as ever. I remember our days in some radio programs and TV programs in Lagos. Until I got to know he's from Abia State, I began to like him more. I needed to have his contact. I lost it, but that's by the way. He has said it all. We are in a race. Very competitive one at that, and by God's grace, everything is working in favor of the Labour Party candidate, and we are all hopeful. The thing to mention is that your past works will smoothly speak for you. You see why people are using this poster here and there. It's a man that's only served just 2 terms as a governor. He has not run for any other public office, and that alone has endeared him to so many people because of what the legacy he left. That is why every other party, every other candidate will be using his poster here and there, more than any other even party them. So we want people who will leave a legacy in the span of time, so that when you out to live and live, people will know that somebody visited here. So we are looking forward. We are very, very hopeful and optimistic that come next week or a few days from now, or in March 11, we will massively go and to vote for our candidate of Labour Party, and they will have a new narrative as far as Abia is concerned.
Okay.
I don't want to delve much into the issue of the new governor candidate of the deputy governor.
Right.
PDP.
Okay. Just
hello.
Yeah, just wrap up.
Yes. I don't know. The odds are a little against him, but there is one secret I would want to say. If, assuming God forbid, it was the deputy that died or relinquished, would they have changed him and the governorship person running? They would have just changed him and allowed the governorship person to continue. So I know the law is a little silent on that, but at least on the ground of equity and good conscience, they would have allowed him to continue with this other man. But then, if it is the prerogative of the man in charge to take who goes with him, then we will go and do that. But again, the man in charge, like I said earlier, he should learn how to talk so that he will leave a legacy for himself. The last time he was talking under the late professor, he never said anything that was impressive. He kept casting aspersions on persons and other candidates instead of telling himself and his matter to the public.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ugonna Eric. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah. My name is Victor. I'm calling from Little Big.
Okay, Victor. It's been ages.
But Ubani said that people will change also interested in the politics of Abia State. He's a man that we are all aware of this going on in the state. How the same government is owing more us.
Hello?
Yes, I was listening to what the commissioner was saying. They don't care. Commissioner said that Abians can stand for themselves. They don't need salary.
Okay.
So I was thinking, what kind of state are we in? And we have to be very careful.
All right.
In person that we vote this time.
All right.
For me, I think Dr. Alex Zuki will can have the challenge of trust on him.
Okay.
Because
Thank
the
you.
banker, he can manage funds. I don't think he will be that type that will come and loot funds from Abia State.
All right.
I think he will know what he will do. At least he will have that multiple investment multiplier. And then investment multiplier, he will know what he can do with our money.
Okay, thank you.
Somebody who doesn't know how to manage money.
Thank you so
very much.
Thank you so much. Now to our Facebook page. This one is coming from Fresh King. He said, good morning. If Abians lose Alex Oti this time around, Abians will still suffer for next 8 years. Let them be careful. Well, that's your thoughts there. Martin Souza said, Barrister Ubani has said it all. This general election will not be business as usual. Abians will obediently vote out PDP in Abia State, and Peter Obi and Alex will stand. That's your opinion. Zeka Elvis, Zeka said, I'm urging, pleading and appealing to well-meaning, God-fearing, law-abiding, civilized and patriotic Abians, both home and abroad, to vote for a leader who has foresight and vision, capacity, integrity, intelligence, honesty, accountability, patriotic, loyal, transparent in the forthcoming general election, because the present condition of the states is nothing good and tangible to write home about. Let's get it right this time to avoid suffering another unproductive years in the hands of visionless people. Thank you so much, Ezeka Elvis. Chinedu Mokafo said, Abia State is quite overripe for quality leadership and good governance. Of course, Abians are ready to do the needful at the appropriate time. A vote for competence is a vote for new Abia. Okay, well, just to remind you that coming up at exactly 12 this afternoon is Midday Politics. Is going to be a debut edition here on Flow 94.1 FM. Let me sincerely thank all of you who actually called in and sent in your messages. Okay, I'm seeing this one from Aloy O. He said, good morning. I 100% align myself to what Barrister Monday Ubani said about Dr. Alex Oti. He is our incoming governor. Thank you so much, Aloy O. Well, I have to exit the station, the studio right now. I'll see you again at noon when we'll be talking Midday Politics. That's a debut edition of the program today at noon. Join us then. My name is Ginika Olwaha. Let's make Abia great. Good morning.